So YouTube is a funny thing. I have 12,000 subscribers. I don't know how that happened. But anyway, my weekly videos only get 200 or 300, sometimes 400 views. So what's up with that? Well, what I think is that I break the cardinal rule of having a successful YouTube channel. I switch around. Sometimes I'm doing boats. Sometimes I'm working on a teeny house. Sometimes I'm working on a tractor. Sometimes I'm working in my shop. So if a boat guy subscribes and then I'm no longer working on boats, he's going to get bored and he's just going to quit watching my videos. And that's fine. He moves on, finds another channel. But typically people don't unsubscribe because that takes effort. You have to push a button. You have to watch the video, open the video, and unsubscribe. And typically people don't do that. But I've noticed certain videos where they do unsubscribe. And it's when I cross this little pathway, this little DMZ, and move into my wife's studio. And I don't know, it's kind of sad. So it seems like then I do get some unsubscribers. And it's pretty sad, but it just seems to be what happens. So when I cross this little DMZ into this studio, apparently, because this is Debbie does religious art. It's all religious based, spiritual. It means stuff to her and people like her. And when people get in, see me doing a video in here, although I've never done a spiritual video, I've never tried to preach. The only videos we've done in here is making molds or making casts. In spite of that, people get triggered and unsubscribe. This is the only time I've noticed when people unsubscribe. They're just so uncomfortable, so triggered that we would actually show an image that might mean something to somebody, they unsubscribe. I think it's sad that people live on the edge like that, but apparently they do. So we're gonna make a mold of this lady here, and if you're Catholic or if you're religious, you know exactly who she is, but we're gonna call her Aunt Esther. We're gonna make a mold of Aunt Esther this week, and it'll be about the technique of making a mold so we can reproduce this. This is clay, and I can stick my finger in it, so this is not permanent. So it'll be about making the mold so we can cast a permanent copy of this clay model of Aunt Esther. So the first thing we're gonna have to do to Aunt Esther to get her situated is to have a backboard for her. She needs to be fastened down securely to a flat sheet of something. I bought a new sheet of 3/4 plywood. And in this case, since this is an oval or a ellipse, I'm not sure which I did it with the 2 nails and a string, so I don't know whether I made an oval or an ellipse. But anyway, I screwed this plywood to the back of it just so it would stand up for Debbie to work on. So we're gonna have to get that off, and I can't lay it on its face, so we're gonna probably, I don't know, it's gonna be stressful for Deb because we're gonna be grabbing the edges, and she's finished the edges, but it's just gonna have to happen. We're gonna have to get it off of there. We have to lay it on a sheet of plywood. We have to screw it from the bottom, and I'm gonna go cut the sheet of plywood. I bought a whole sheet, so I'm gonna make it extra big. We're gonna go 3 feet by 50 inches. Our house falls at mile 18 on the Louisiana Marathon, and by that time in the race, a lot of people are ready to carb up a little bit, so we have a beer stand out front and have fun with it. So we just unscrewed the temporary support from the back. Now we're gonna center this up and draw a circle and drill holes and then screw it from the back. How much battery I got? I got a lot. Okay, so we're gonna draw an outline. Yep, all the way around. Let me go get the screws and a proper drill bit. Something you don't see in my shop very often is a new sheet of plywood, but over here they're fairly common, so I don't know what's up with that. All right, and we need to move it out the way. I guess we can like shift it side to side so I can drill holes. Yeah, like that. Good. I'm gonna pre-drill holes, screw it from the bottom, and I'm pre-drilling because I want the screws to suck the relief down tight to the plywood. Because if any rubber leaks under there, it'll be a problem. So let's pull this way. I don't know how many screws it's going to take. So I'm going to drill a bunch of holes. But I may not put that many screws.
You don't have dust on the clay.
Okay, then it back up on your pencils, on your pencil marks. For the people that are easily triggered.
Okay, slow down.
That'd be great. All right, here. All right.
Okay.
I'm dropping the screw and I'm gonna need a lot. Okay. You gotta keep scooting it around for me.
Oh, here, you're on this. Yeah, okay. Well, I don't want to bump your head.
Here's the holes.
Let's see.
There it is in the knot. I couldn't see it.
Good pull down.
All right.
I run a bead of clay here along the very edge where the relief meets the plywood so that the rubber won't seep underneath it.
And what happens if the rubber seeps underneath it?
Well, it just makes it harder to demold and makes it a mess.
Okay.
And then I have to spray the whole surface. I have to wax the plywood and then spray a release agent, poly 2300, and spray the whole surface of the clay
Because?
with a release agent so that the rubber will come off.
All right. You're making snakes,
You know what God said when he made snakes? These things are a cinch.
That rubber really does stick tenaciously. It has the ability to crack the backing of the form before it'll actually let go. So she takes extra pains to make sure no rubber will leak between the model and the backboard. Okay, beads all the way around, and now Miss Luke applies a lot of paste wax just to keep that old rubber from getting in the grain of that wood and staying forever. And actually she's already done it, so we're just pretending here. And now this is the release. I don't know what it is.
2300, Polytech 2300.
It's not silicone. I don't know what's in it, but it keeps stuff from sticking. And how long before you can put the rubber on it?
Oh, maybe 20 minutes.
Okay. So it's rubber mixing time. We use a Polytech product. It's called 7430. 74 is the series, and 30 is the durometer, I believe it's called. How rigid the rubber is, when it cures. Comes in all different kinds. And this is a polyurethane rubber, which means you can't use it with clay that has sulfur in it. It won't harden. And you can't use it with polyester resins. I can't make boat parts if I use this material to make a rubber. I'd have to go with a silicone rubber, which is way more expensive. So this is what we use. Equal parts. Mix, 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 mix. And we put a little thickener in it to keep it from being so runny. And she uses the polyfiber, which comes from Polytech, which I think is polyester fibers. It's super easy to work with, and I don't know why more boat people don't use it. I use it when I'm doing fiberglass work or epoxy work or paint. It mixes with anything, and it's just a thickener, and it's dirt cheap. compared to the marine products. And she's thickening it up a little bit with the polyfiber. If you don't mix it well, you'll get a sticky spot in your mold, and that's happened to us before, and it makes a blemish on the surface, and that's not good. So she mixes a lot.
I'm going to probably, to cover that piece, do this 4 times.
4 cups.
And then 4 times 4, because I'll have to do 4 layers.
4 or 3? It's pretty flat.
It's pretty flat, but I'll probably do 4. Flat, but it's got some high points.
Yeah.
High relief points need a little bit more because the rubber tends to run off those fingertips and the nose. Anything that's a projection.
Yeah. Now this is going to be a mold with a mother mold. Theoretically, we could pour a block mold, in which case I just put a big form around it. We would just fill it up with rubber, but it would have to come all the way above Aunt Esther's face. So that would be like gallons and gallons, and it would weigh a bunch, and rubber's not cheap. It's a couple $100 a gallon. So we're going to use a thin coating of rubber and then support it with a mother mold. So this is an example of a block mold. We just had the relief and we build a form and just fill it with rubber. But this one is little and it works out okay like that. But that big one would not work as a block mold. Plus, when the rubber gets real thick, it's not as flexible, so it might be challenging to like pull it off of her face without ripping her face in the finished product. So there she goes. She's gonna be doing this for a little while. I'll turn her off. Okay, 4 coats. Everything's good. She will probably come out here and mix up a little cupful with a lot of thickener. Oh, it's still wet. To fill that void beneath the toes, because that will make it real hard to pull the final cast out of the rubber. The head looks fine. Yeah, she'll probably mix up like a jigger full with a lot of thickener and plug that. So that's all we can do today. And tomorrow we'll make a form and work on the mother mold. Okay, it's been a few hours since the last coat, and it's not, still a little sticky. It's not totally cured, but I'm gonna trim the edge because it gets pretty tough to cut if I wait till in the morning when it's 100% cured. And I just want to kind of trim it back a little bit so this edge won't be so messy. A sharp blade and a lot of pressure, and just go slow. I don't want to like go the wrong way, that's for sure. Okay, the frame or the form is done. Well, the first part of it is pocket screwed through to the base plywood. These screws have to be accessible, so don't put them on the inside where you can't get to them later. The corners are screwed. That's going to stay forever, but it's, you know, it's on there. It doesn't have to be pretty, doesn't have to be straight. Typically I use junk wood, but I burn all my junk wood, so I got some new strips of plywood here. And just because this thing is this ellipse or this oval or whatever it is, I'm going to put a board on each corner to try to reduce the total amount of plastics and stuff we're going to need. So that's next. Okay, now that I have a form, what to put in it? We could just fill it. We could fill it with plaster of Paris or hydrostone, and it will work perfectly well, just like this one. This mother mold is just a solid hunk of probably hydrostone, but how much would that weigh? I mean, this little one's heavy enough. That would be, couldn't do it. It's not practical. So I've developed, and I think I've developed it on my own. I don't see anybody else doing it. I make a grid to hold plaster paste. And I put the grid, I'm putting it on even centers. Doesn't have to be, but if you put it on even centers, then the boards that go back this way are all be the same length, and it just makes it a lot easier. So I'm gonna start cutting this grid out, and it's just to hold up. We're gonna use plastic as a mother mold, and this is to hold up the plastic. So this is like a mother mold for the mother mold for Aunt Esther here. Okay, I'm starting to install the grid. This is pretty low-tech stuff. I ripped these strips so that there's about 1/4 to 3/8 of an inch between the bottom of the strip and the rubber, and that will allow some room for some plastic paste to get in there and hold it. Some parts, it's just a straight board all the way across because there's not much relief. And some parts of relief, like where the head goes up and the feet go up, I got to mark this little strip and cut a curve out of it to not touch the rubber, or actually just to be able to get it in there. So I usually go 6-inch centers. It doesn't make that much difference. The closer you go together, the thinner the plastic paste can be because you're not spanning very far. But it's a lot more work. The further apart you go, the less work it is with wood, but the thicker you need to build up the plastic paste so that it won't sag between the supports. Now, the mold's upside down, so keep that in mind, that when you turn it over, what will be on the table is the back flat side of all these little strips, and they'll be supporting the plastic, and the plastic will be supporting the rubber, which will be supporting whatever material you cast with. Okay, so I got these all done.
Yeah.
I probably could have cut them a little bit wider to be closer to the rubber so we wouldn't have to use so much plastic. The last two I did rip a little wider, and you can see on some of them I had to like carve out for a bump. Doesn't have to be anything special. I just grab it with a pencil and go whack it out with the bandsaw. So now I'm going to do these things. And this is an issue where I really could use a lot of scrap wood, but I don't have any because I burn it all. We'll find something. So it's done, except that you need to wax the plywood that's exposed so that the plastic paste doesn't stick to the plywood, because this has to come off without breaking anything. So it's just a light grid, and that's what we're after. It's not that light. All right, we're back to work on Aunt Esther. We were ready to apply plastic about a week ago, but we didn't have a whole lot, and we were scared we were going to run out, and then it'd be partially cured, and then we reorder, and then we'd be putting new plastic over cured plastic. We weren't really sure if it would have here. I was pretty sure it would, but why take the chance? So we just stopped and we ordered some more, and now it's here. And Debbie had waxed all this, but it's been a week, so she's going to re-wax it and put new spray on it, and then we'll be ready to go. Okay, so we're waxing up, and what do you use? Just plain old paste wax, huh?
Yeah, tree wax.
Tree wax.
Clear paste wax.
Been using that for 30 years. They still make the same product, it just costs a lot more. Now we're using a spray separator just to make sure, because you don't want all this stuff sticking together. It'd be a big old disaster.
Slippery.
Yeah.
With all that release.
Then we put the pocket screws back in. They go pretty much back in the same holes because I marked the outside of the frame before I picked it up. So here we go. We're mixing plastic. Just using a drinking cup as a measuring. It's 50-50. We're going to dump them together and mix the heck out of them. And we're going to put a lot of polyfiber because it doesn't need to be watery. It needs to be thicker. Here we go. Pouring the liquid plastic into the mold. It's pretty, not much to it, especially the first batches. Okay. So this is the last bucket of the first batch. Kind of fill it in. It's nice when it comes up to the bottom of the boards, but it doesn't have to be 100%. It needs to be maybe like 80%, because the plastic itself has some strength as opposed to the rubber, which has no strength. So this will set up in about 20 minutes, and we'll do it again. Another coat.
You see any sparse spots?
No, I think it looks towards a little hole right there, but nothing to be excited about. First batch of the second coat, and we mixed a couple of drops of this stuff to get a different color to help us kind of keep track of the layers. We could have done this with the rubber too, put colors in it, and sometimes we do, but we didn't. So it's been like 30 minutes, and the first coat's stiff enough. We're gonna start with the second coat. So it's exothermic, it gives off heat. So the thicker parts at the bottom are hard as a rock, and the thinner parts, they're a little bit sticky, not quite so hard because they don't have as much heat to work with. Oh, that's beautiful. All right, I'm gonna mix myself a batch. Okay, finish the second coat and we're calling it good. I think we have enough thickness. It doesn't have to be super thick because the span, it's not spanning much. And if it doesn't hit the wood everywhere, like this little joint right here, it's not gonna like bend in. It's pretty rigid stuff. So as long as we get most of it supported, flip it over, the wood will support the plastic will support the rubber, and the rubber will support the, what are we pouring this in? What's the finished product?
Finished product?
Yeah. Dryve.
Matrix Dryve.
Matrix
You can take a picture of the
Dryve.
bucket over there.
Okay.
Matrix Dryve.
That's what the art will be in.
I thought you wanted to tell me
The
this.
screws are gone. Let's slide
Yes.
it this way and flip it.
Slide it this way, is it?
Yeah. Slide it this way.
Okay.
Okay, ready?
Okay. Okay.
Rubber. Get these screws out that I put in a long time ago.
Okay. Different bit.
Yep. What's it called?
Torque?
Torx. With an S on the end. T-O-R-X-S.
Torques. Now you know where everything is, huh?
It is. It's nice.
Organized.
Oh, I'm recording. That was just thin and it won't come out.
Oh, yeah.
Probably missed the 400. Okay, so we should be able to lift this off. So the plywood is being held by the chemical bond from the rubber, even though we waxed and sprayed. Now it didn't hold tremendously, we were able to get it off, but just imagine if we would not have sprayed, we would be crying right now.
Okay.
Watch this, it's gonna be really sharp.
Okay.
Okay, so we can lift out the rubber, or we can lift out the original.
Here?
What do you want to try to get out? Or do you want to try to get the wood out?
It doesn't matter. Screwdriver.
Now we didn't do anything wrong, but prying out the original and the rubber was tough. It was stuck in there pretty good. Not chemically stuck, but just for friction because the walls were vertical and they're vertical all the way around. So at first I was trying to pry the rubber loose from the plastic, and I was having to push pretty hard and I was scared it was going to tear the rubber. So later on I put some screws in the back of the wood that's part of the original, the frame, and we were able to pry those up and it popped off pretty easy. Now at this point, once we got it out of there, I should have taken a grinder and eased the edge of the plastic so that when we poured the permanent piece, it would have been easier to get the permanent piece out of there. And I can do that because even though I could remove some of the plastic, the rubber is not going to deflect because you move a 1/4 inch of plastic. The rubber has some strength, and especially in that corner. So I can, we do this kind of regularly, grind off a bump that's giving us problems and just let the rubber span over the air. And it's kind of how we've done it a lot of times. And I didn't do it on this time, but I probably should have. And if we pour another piece from this mold, I probably will remove some plastic to make it easier to get the original out of the mold. Put that down right up on the screw. And put you on the other end. Right? You might not even need your block. There you go. Oops, she lost her head. So Aunt Esther is out of the rubber mold almost.
Aunt Esther.
Still got her head in there. So this oil-based clay will be scraped off of this oval, put in a bucket, and saved for the next project. It lasts pretty much forever until it just gets too dirty. Yeah, we don't throw it away. It's reused over and over again. Let's take the rubber out and you can touch it from the back.
Oh, well, that's true.
So again, in spite of waxing and spraying the release, the rubber still has a tendency to stick. Well, in this case, it would be the plastic trying to stick to the rubber. So everything wants to stick to everything, and you got to make sure that you don't let that happen.
Then, well, if it stays there, ooh, that's going to be a problem with the cast.
No.
Mm-hmm.
No. We've done dozens and dozens of these molds over the years. Debbie still gets excited when she opens them up to look inside. She's like a small child. Droopy eye. You got droopy eye.
See? Whoop. Ooh, we did it, see?
Of course.
We made another mold. We made another mold. Look at that.
Let me pick up the mother mold to show.
The mother? Okay.
This is how we make a fairly lightweight, fairly inexpensive mother mold on large reliefs. And all it does is hold the rubber. You get the rubber back and throw it in there. The rubber has all the details. And now it's the right shape. So next step is for Debbie to clean out 1 million little bitty pieces of rubber.
No, clay.
Clay, I'm sorry, from the rubber, clean the rubber, and then we'll start thinking about casting a positive, the final piece. Debbie's doing the menial task of picking out all the pieces of clay. The white plastic generates a lot of heat when it's curing, and that makes the rubber warm, and the clay gets really, really soft when it gets warm. So there's always lots of little bitty specks, and if you don't get them out, they show up in the face of the finish coat, which is no good. So I kind of messed up. I did not transfer the center line and the vertical center line of the oval before we took the mold out earlier. So I need the center lines to make sure the hanging bracket is in the right spot. So I pulled off all the clay from the wood, and we put some plastic to make sure we wouldn't get the mold contaminated again, because Debbie just spent a lot of time cleaning it. And now I got the lines transferred. So now we can take this out and probably throw it away. I don't know if you're going to do another mold oval.
Yeah, I hadn't had it.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, I'm going to take the saw and cut this.
I'm not going to do another Mary. Who knows?
Because when we start doing the cast, all that white stuff is going to be everywhere. We might lose these marks, and we need these marks to set the French cleat. So,
Uh-oh.
I'm going to cut.
What happened?
Got a bubble, air bubble.
We got an air bubble.
Beautiful. So today's casting day. What you doing, Debbie Luke?
I am measuring my Matrix Dryve. It's a 3-to-1, 3 times as much Matrix Dryve as water. Those are the 2 ingredients. And I'm right at 24 ounces of Matrix Dryve, and I'll get 8 ounces of water. And pour it in a larger container, slightly larger container, and mix with the drill and paint it on.
Okay, so this is a polymer reinforced gypsum, I think would be the right way to describe it. It looks like plaster of Paris, but it's about 50 times harder. If anybody knows of a product that's better, let us know.
They ought to be there. Yeah, I'll need that for the face.
Give me the fat one. You dump me out some?
Yeah. It's not really dumping like it usually does. This is thicker.
Well, it stands up on the edges. That's kind of nice.
Yeah.
So this is another multi-coat product. We'll put probably 2 coats. We call this a face coat. It has no chopped glass in it. And it has to sit like 30 minutes between coats so it stiffens up. If you try to recoat it too fast, you'll lift the first coat. The second coat will stick to the first coat and pull it off, though. We don't want to do that. So, and then put 3 coats probably of the same material with chopped glass, fiberglass in it, and that gives it its strength. Now we have another product that we use that looks similar. It's called Hydrostone Super X, and it's not paintable. You have to pour it. So if we were to use that material on this mold, it would have to be poured solid and would be very, very, very heavy. So we used the Hydrostone Super X on the smaller pieces, and we use this product on the larger pieces. It's much more time and labor consuming and more expensive, but it makes a finished product that is manageable weight wise and very strong, not brittle. The Hydrostone can be a little bit brittle. If you drop it, it'll crack. I don't think this would crack if you dropped it, although we're not going to find that out, hopefully. This is a project where it's good to have a helper. If you use up a bucket and you go stop to make another bucket, by the time you get back, it'll be kind of skinned over, and you will see that line from the front when you unmold it. So Debbie paints and I mix continuously until we get a whole coat, 1 layer, and then we can take a little break and then start over again.
Francis and Claire, and I did Joseph and Mary, and I did a kind of a remote saint, Felix of Cantaliche.
Interesting.
And so yeah, so that was one of a threesome.
Okay.
But well, thank you, and that's for you over there. The ones that are bubbled wrapped, Alicia.
Good enough.
How's Mom?
You know, she was in the attic yesterday.
Oh my gosh!
She had to get something out right then and there.
Oh no!
So
You're kidding.
I think I have to become. I don't know that I'm there, but I tell myself that I'm there. If she falls off the ladder or out of the attic and something happens, it's okay.
It's okay.
Because she wanted to do it. Aunt's absolute best friends, and she sent me a happy birthday thing, and she said something about you old 57. I'm like, hey, I ain't there yet. Like, wait.
This is after the second face coat. We have good coverage everywhere, and we're going to call it good. We're going to switch to the chopped matte material for strength. So unlike the liquid rubber and the liquid plastic, this is a water-based compound, so we can wash and save the buckets and use them over and over. And yes, my outdoor sink does drain onto the ground, and yes, I do get stalagmites and stalactites. And about once a year I got to get back here with them all and break them up and throw them in the garbage can. But anyway, it's nice to be able to do this outside and not worry about making a mess.
So this is going to be our third coat, and we're putting chopped glass in it for strength. This coat and the next coat, and if there is another coat after that, we'll all have chopped glass, and this makes it really, really strong.
You have to make sure you get good wet out, which is the phrase they use to describe that all the strands are wet.
So paintbrushes no longer work. You have to spread this with your hand. It's kind of thick. It does have glass fibers in it. You need to move real slow so you don't get one in your finger. But basically just patty cake it and try to spread it out as even as you can.
First coat of the reinforced product, drying quickly. You can't put the next coat on until it really dries. Otherwise, when you're brushing it, the coat before will try to lift off. So just let it dry, and it doesn't take long. And then we'll put another layer, and then we're going to set the... So this is the French cleat I made. It is 3/4 plywood with half lap joints, and they're screwed and glued. And I have all these little stainless screws in the back, and these will lock into the material so that it'll hang on the wall right here. These two sticks hold it in position until the material hardens, and they're screwed on this side so we can get this off easily. And then we just provide the owner with the other part of the French cleat. So it'll hang down on the wall, and this will hang on the cleat. And see, it comes out. We got real busy and I didn't film, but I just set the frame. I had previously marked it where it goes, so that was kind of a non-event. And then I took a plastic squeegee and tried to shove material up to make sure a lot of those screw heads get encased in the material. They didn't all have to. It was way stronger than it had to be. But so I wanted to show you something. Remember how Debbie was putting paste wax and form release and all that to make sure that the plastic didn't stick to the wrong place? This is you can't, it sticks. There was no wax on this surface here.
I mentioned earlier in the video where I could have taken the grinder and knocked a corner of the plastic off, and that would have made this much easier. It would have been easier to get the final cast out of the mold. I didn't do it. It came out anyway, but it just it's something I normally do and I forgot. So yeah, we're fighting it right now.
Yeah. You usually have a whole right thing. You want to do that
And she's a nervous wreck.
the high beliefs. I don't want to put any extra pressure on. Okay. Didn't break the toes. Now the fingertips come out a little bit. Oh, they came out great. This hand, right hand good. Left hand good. Now the moment of truth, the face. Let's go back this way and pull here.
Esther. She's complete. She's complete.
Okay.
No issues. Now see these little smudges? That's because there was clay in the mold.
Yeah.
My
so
bride
I have
didn't
to-
do that good of a job cleaning.
Ooh.
Thankfully that wasn't me. I would have been being yelled at. But it
I'll
wasn't
get
me.
them off. I'll get them off. We got one bubble on her lip, but that's easy to patch.
With this material.
Yes, with this material.
So the cast is up on the easel. It's hanging from the French cleat, and Debbie will go over it meticulously and look for bubbles or pimples or any kind of imperfections. And this particular material, it's real easy to patch. The hydrostone, not so much, but this is easy. And she's going to patina it or paint it. This flat white material needs a finish.
Okay, so we skipped a little bit here. Debbie met with the patron and they agreed on Aunt Esther's color. Debbie doesn't usually use blue. She usually uses earth tones, stone colors, but they wanted blue, and it's going to be good because the wall is really white and it would have gotten lost. So she's painting different layers of, this is different layers of blues, different layers of white. Now she's doing some gold, and it's almost through. We'll give it away shortly. Well, we won't give it away. We'll be compensated.